Bratt, we were talking with Sheldon yesterday about how the last time, these two teams met, although at a very different stage in November, it really felt like a benchmark moment for you guys. What was so pivotal about those two games that you would hope to replicate again?
Oh, obviously, when you're coming in and you're playing against the previous Stanley Cup champions, you obviously bring a little extra excitement, and I think that's kind of a thing they're probably facing all year, is that every single team they're playing against wants to beat them and wants to beat the former champions. So they're kind of the benchmark, like we talked about, of being a good team, and you want to prove to yourself as a group that you can beat teams like that.
I mean, what was it about maybe those two games? Sheldon saying that those are probably two of your best games as a group.
I think it came from every single detail. I think goaltending was playing great, and then I think our play without the puck, we didn't give up a lot of chances. I think we played pretty tight and compact as a group in D zone. We kept them to the outside, and then we kind of limit a lot of their rush chances. They're a team that dumps a lot of pucks, and they play hard on the forecheck. And I think that if you minimize the chances they get to the inside of the ice, you give yourself a better chance to win. And then we didn't turn a lot of pucks over. We didn't feed their offense, and we didn't feed their skill players to carry the puck a lot through the neutral zone and play offense. So we got the pucks in behind them, and that's kind of why we got some success with long O-zone changes and get some goals out of that.
Sam Reinhart obviously, plays an incredible game, especially when he's on the penalty kill. What makes him so lethal that you guys have to guard against with all his shorthanded goals?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a top player in this league, and you got to watch out for when those guys are on the ice. Both when he's on the power play, he's in that position where he scores a lot of goals. So we got to minimize our penalties as well, try to not give them anything. And then obviously you have to control the play a little bit on the power play. You have to know that they're aggressive. They're really aggressive. They go hard, and they're just not a team that shoots the puck down the ice when they win the puck back in the penalty kill. There, you got to be able to and willing to transition back to defense too, and be ready for that. And we've played a lot of teams like that before, but obviously they're one of the teams that scored the most goals on the penalty kill.
Is that what you kind of hope other teams expect from you guys when you're on the penalty kill, yourself and Jack in particular?
Yeah, I think we're always talking about that, and we're kind of having that communication that what we don't like to play against on a PK, we're trying to implement that in our own PK to be aggressive, to win the pucks back, and not just be satisfied with just winning the puck back and clearing it out. That if you have a chance to go, you go, because we know it's hard to transition when you're on the power play and you have that offensive mindset to then transition that fast into defense. You might gain that split second that's all you need to create a good scoring chance.
Those games in Florida, it seemed like the team just finally clicked for whatever reason. Do you think it was just because you were building to that point and it just finally worked out, or was there something about Florida that focuses the mind that kind of brings out the best in you?
It's probably a little bit of everything. I think our game kind of we had played enough games to kind of understand how we needed to play to win games, and then we all knew we all had to be on our best to beat them, and we all knew that it was going to be a hard-fought game, and it's not going to be a game of only a lot of pretty goals. It's going to come from wearing them down in O-zone, and then getting those second, third opportunities to score goals. We knew it wasn't going to be an easy game, and I think that's kind of why we simplified our game, and that kind of brought the best out of us too.
Sheldon, we talked a lot about Florida yesterday, but one thing we didn't really touch on is how skillful they are on their penalty kill and how dangerous they can be. What does your power play need to guard against and be really wary of how they handle their power play?
Well, you got to play through pressure, first of all, which we've been seeing lots of that of late from the teams that we've seen, but they do it very well. So you got to play through pressure, because that creates turnovers and puts you in vulnerable spots. And then when they have us in vulnerable spots, we've got to get back and transition to defense quicker than they can get going. So we've talked about that this morning. Jeremy's got us on high alert, and our guys have to execute through that. But certainly have to be aware. But at the same time, you can't let that play on your mind too much, because you got to find ways to execute and look to score, to have it be a positive for us that way. But certainly is a challenge, no doubt.
When it comes to a player like Sam Reinhart, particularly on the PK, we were just talking to Jesper, and he said that's kind of what Jack and I want to be able to accomplish at times. Do you sort of see that those can kind of be similarities about those types of players on the PK?
Well, yeah, in terms of guys that can make you pay,
Yeah.
for sure, that's part of it. Reinhardt specifically, he might have the best stick in the league or close to it in terms of getting the stick on pucks and turning things over, and then his ability to score, to counter. But he's also very smart positionally, and that allows him to utilize the skills that he has to create those turnovers. And I think with those offensive instincts that guys like Bratt and Jack have, you want to see them apply those to the defensive reads, and then counter the other way with their speed and quickness and talent. So, yeah, I think there's similarities. That's part of what you're doing. But again, I don't think any team, including the one leading the league in shorthanded goals that we're playing here tonight, I don't think any team goes into it saying, "Hey, let's try to create some offense on our penalty kill." I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Recognize when the power play is vulnerable and strike. You want to have that, but the mindset is to kill the penalty and keep the puck away from your net as much as possible.
Those games in Florida, it seemed like the team really gelled together at that time. Do you think that was kind of the culmination of things just finally clicking, or do you think playing a team like Florida kind of focuses the mind?
Yeah, I think there's both of those things, right? You're building your game and trying to establish a team identity, and then you get down to Florida and it's a daunting task. You've got 2 games back to back against the Cup champs, and I think that certainly snapped our team into attention out of respect that you have for the opponent and not wanting to get embarrassed. So you get out there and you play a good game and you execute a game plan. So it was very good to serve as sort of a template for us going forward of what we can look like and how we get there. So we're trying to find our game here again consistently, and we've seen some signs of that here and had some decent results of late. But perhaps it's another opportunity for us to look at it the same way, and we've discussed it about how we can approach it very similarly and hope for a same type of effort and result.
And any lineup changes tonight?
We've got a game time decision or two that might impact the group, so we'll have to see how that plays out tonight.
On their PK, are they taking some risks, or are they just pouncing on opportunities?
Yeah, I'd say I would say they're creating turnovers, putting in vulnerable spots, and then capitalizing, going the other way. Now, are they taking risks? Anytime you go down on the attack on the penalty kill and your defensemen are active and all of that, you're always taking a risk, because if the chance doesn't go well, you're really exposed going the other way. You're already shorthanded to start with, and now you lose people up the ice and you're vulnerable going the other way. So there's some give and take there for sure. But I certainly don't think that they're compromising their penalty kill in order to seek offense.
Just going back to the other night, you put the 4 forwards out, which you said you've done before, and it's not unusual on a 4-on-3 necessarily, but 5-on-4 it is to put 5 forwards out generally. Like, what's the difference between a 4-on-3 and a 5-on-4 that would make putting 5 forwards out kind of eye-opening?
Yeah, I think the difference with 5-on-4, I would say, is just obviously there's another threat to counter the other way. There's another body. Generally, teams will be far more aggressive. So with 4 guys in their killing than with 3. 3, they're generally going to be pretty passive. 3, there's generally 1 forward and 2 defensemen out there. So those kind of things come to mind. But I think every situation is a little bit different. I think we faced a 5-man 5-forward power play against Toronto, whenever that was they were in here. That was sort of the impetus for me to move Jack up and get him involved more. Is to get him to play with Bratter and see if we could maybe get them, the 5 forwards, break the rhythm a little bit and capitalize when we got the puck, and I think that's exactly how it worked out in that particular game. We got some really good scoring chances, and I think it was by their third power play of the game they had abandoned the 5-forward look. So you kind of play on it that way. For us going 4 forwards the other night, I thought it was the right move for us to get Nason involved at the net front, and obviously it worked out in that case. But if we were to get another 4-on-3 today, we might not go 4 forwards. So with each situation, it's sort of different, and you're kind of adapting, because there's times when you want a big shot from the point, or you want another right-handed shot from further away from the net, where Dougie can help. So it's just kind of sorting that out based on the situation and what's happening in the game and what the opponent's bringing.